This is Learner Training Module 2, Registering an ESF Learner. The purpose of this session is to demonstrate the different stages of registering an ESF learner up to the point of enrolment. Specifically, this will show how to choose the ESF funding stream and enter the ESF learner start and assessment details. We will look at how to complete the learner details, which are the data capture parts of the ILP, as well as recording the IAG discussion in the pre-program section. Finally, we will see how to add information about further support that a learner may require to access or progress on their learning. The details entered in these sections are very similar to what would have been previously entered into the ILP. This is now called the learning plan. However, rather than completing the current electronic or offline spreadsheet, the details can be entered directly into the Atlas system. Obviously, this will depend on the Atlas user having an internet connection to be able to access Atlas. If this isn't available, then the original offline ILP document can be used and details entered onto Atlas at a later date. Parts 1 to 4 of the offline ILP will need to be uploaded as a single document into Atlas, together with the offline learning agreement, which must also be uploaded as a single document. We cover uploading documents in a separate module of this training course. To start this module, you need to log in to the Atlas system on the URL you have been supplied with, using your username and password. When we have the dashboard view, we are going to create the plan. From the menu in blue on the left-hand side of the screen, select Learners and search for your learner in the search box. When you have the correct learner, select the blue Edit button. Have a go at this action now. You should now see a heading called Learning Plans, but we don't at this stage have any learning aims that have been enrolled for this learner. To start the plan, select the button called New Plan and select the correct funding type from the drop-down box. In this case, it will be ESF. Enter the ESF Learner Start and Assessment start date and confirm that the aim starts and finishes on the same day. Select the Learning Centre, Contract and Delivery Location postcode of where the learning will take place. For SSFW, this would normally be the postcode of the learner's employer. Then select Create Program. Have a go at these actions now. The view you have will be of Learning Plan 1, the ESF Learner Start and Assessment. We now need to enter the learner's details. In the Learning Plan section, select the blue Edit button for this learning plan. There are a number of tabs that appear across the top of the page. Learner Home, Learner Details, Pre-Program Discussion, Diagnostics and Screeners, Learner Support, Learning Plan, and then a hidden menu with more options. Some of these areas are covered in future modules. The first section to complete is Personal Information. Some of the fields have already been populated with information that has previously been entered. Let's start with the learner's address. You can do a quick lookup of the learner's address by entering the postcode and selecting the green lookup button and choosing the correct address. Then complete the home and mobile numbers, a secondary email if necessary, and emergency contact details. The emergency contact details are compulsory fields, and without them the learning agreement cannot be issued. The national insurance number must be completed. Again, this is a mandatory field. If the unique learner number ULN is known, this should be entered at this stage. However, it is not a mandatory field and can be entered later. You can also use the option to check or create a ULN that we looked at earlier. The LearnDirect username is created by the system and can be entered later. Finally, in this section, choose the relevant option according to the learner's response for preferred method of contact and ESFA contract restrictions. For SSFW learners, the option for Where did you hear about LearnDirect is automatically chosen as your employer. For other ESF contracts, you can enter the appropriate response. At this stage, you can leave both provider specified learner data fields. Now you have a go at completing the details in the personal information section. We now need to add the equality and diversity information to the learner details. After discussion with the learner, complete the current gender identity, preferred gender pronoun, sexual orientation and ethnicity. The religion belief field is not mandatory. Then select the appropriate disability or learning difficulty. More than one condition can be chosen, but if this is the case, you need to identify which one is the primary disability. No disability is an option you can choose. If the learner identifies any learning support that is required for them to achieve their learning goals, this can be added here, and any documentary evidence can be added via the Learner Support tab. Please now complete the Equality and Diversity section. The next sections to be completed are residency, nationality and household situation, followed by verification of identity. First of all, enter the answers for English as first language and household situation. Then record the information that has been provided for verification of identity. Please refer to existing guidance in relation to acceptable forms of identity and which of the 4 criteria they meet. Now you have a go at completing the details in these sections. When this has been done, we now need to enter information on previous achievements and qualifications. Through discussion with the learner, enter details about previous learning in the last 3 years and answer the questions about the Personal Learning Record PLR. If there is an existing PLR for the learner, this should be uploaded at this stage, or it can be done at a later time. To do this, make sure the PLR has been saved or scanned to a location from which you can upload it. Then provide details on the learner's highest qualification and the rationale for including it. Enter the highest level of English, Maths and General qualification. The ESOL qualification also needs to be completed. Not applicable is an option you can choose. Select the personal assessment of the learner's computer skills. Finally, in this section, provide some details on qualifications that the learner has achieved with their level or grade and the year they were achieved. Now complete this section yourself. The final section in Learner Details is to provide the individual's employment information. First, select the green button Add Employment Record. Depending on the employment status, different subsequent fields appear. If Not in Paid Employment, Looking for Work and Available to Start Work is selected, then complete the date the status was started and the length of unemployment. If the learner is in employment, enter the date the status started. To select a specific date, click to bring up the calendar view, then select the month to bring up a view by month, and then the year to show a selection of years. Choose the required year, then the month, and then the day. Complete the fields for self-employment and length of employment. Now scroll down within the pop-up window to select details about their employer. For an SSFW learner, this can be found using the green Search Atlas button. The employer details will already exist on the system, as there will have been a Training Needs Analysis TNA conducted before any learner activity starts. When the search boxes appear, enter the organisation name and postcode and select Search. Then, to link the learner to the employer, choose the entry that corresponds to the location where the training will take place. If a new delivery location needs to be added, select the amber DLR button. When the correct location is selected, employer name and contact details show as a business card, so you don't then need to add the employer contact name, telephone number or email unless they are different to the details shown. For both employed and unemployed learners, you are then required to provide details about involvement with the work programme, benefits claimed and evidence seen to confirm their employment status. For employed learners, this could be payslip or contract. For unemployed learners, this might be their JSA letter. The field about JCP requiring mandatory attendance needs to be answered. If the answer is yes, then an additional field will show asking for the JCP advisor's name. When all fields have been collected, select Confirm. Now try this section. You have now completed the learner details for this learning plan. Select Save and Continue to finish this section. We now turn to entering a Learner's Information Advice and Guidance, IAG, by selecting the Pre-Programme Discussion tab at the top of the page. In the top box, we will record the reasons why a learner wants to do learning, identifying the courses they want to take, the skills they hope to develop, their motivation for doing the course, and what they expect the long-term benefits to be. In the next box, we state which of the potential outcomes they wish to achieve as a result of the learning. This will depend on the possible progression routes for their contract. For SSFW, this could be progression into education, apprenticeship, or within work. The third box is an opportunity for the learner to identify any additional support they might require through their learning. This might relate to resources they need to complete the training, additional learning support, or factors that will determine their availability to undertake the learning. Finally, you need to indicate if the learner is suitable for this provision. Please now complete the Personal and Social Skills and Support Required section. For ESF SSFW learners, For ESF SSFW learners, the final part of the Programme Discussion tab is to complete the Planned Learning Hours section. It may be that this hasn't been finalised with the employer as to when the learner will be available for their learning. However, you should enter the expected total number of hours for all programmes that have been identified in the ILP. Then select Save and Continue. Have a go at completing the Planned Learning Hours section. The next tab to look at is the Diagnostics and Screeners tab, although we will only look at how to upload results of screeners that have been taken outside of the Atlas system. Later modules will cover how to assign screeners and diagnostics within Atlas. Select the Diagnostics and Screeners tab to upload screener results. Select the Diagnostics and Screeners tab. To upload screener results, select Upload. Find the saved document and select it. Then select Screener from the description field. Select the signature box and confirm your default signature. Then select Save. Now try to upload a screener result to the system.